Hi friends, welcome to Sailor Calypso Says. I'm your host, Sailor Calypso, aka Angelina. If you're new here, in this podcast we talk about pop culture and many other nerdy, nostalgic things. We'll try to keep it to the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, but sometimes things go sideways and we don't stick to a script. On every episode, we will also try a fun snack food that is not normally found here in Western Canada. And I will probably also read some mail we've received recently. Stick around, you might like what you hear. Hey friends, it's Angelina, aka Sailor Calypso here. Today I'm all by myself. So today we're going to take some opportunity to answer some questions that I received from a number of people. I'm also going to taste test some snacks from different countries, and both of the snacks are new for my country map, which I will talk about later as well. But I'm trying some chips from the Philippines and coffee flavored candies from Holland. So stay tuned for that. Um so yeah, I'm going to dive right in. This is kind of a podcast about why my origin story, I guess. The first question I get an awful lot is, where does the name come from? So, in grade 11 or 12, my best friend gave me a nickname, Sailor Calypso, and that's because I really liked Sailor Moon. My favorite Sailor soldier is Sailor Saturn, and Calypso is a moon of Saturn. So that's where that came from. And then Sailor Says was part of the North American version of Sailor Moon. And it was kind of like public service announcements at the end of every episode called Sailor Says. And they were kind of aimed at kids. They taught kids about like not about like sharing, and what else do I remember? About recycling and things like that, you know? So it all kind of works together to come out as Sailor Calypso Says. Also, it's a podcast, so I'm saying a lot of stuff and you're listening to me talk, so I'm saying, so it all works. So that's kind of the origin of um the name of my podcast, I guess. So I hope that answers that question for everyone. Another question I get a lot is, why did you decide to start a podcast? So basically, I started listening to podcasts and I couldn't find one that covered what I wanted to hear about. I found a lot of podcasts where I liked the people who were talking, or I liked a subject they sometimes talked about, but the other stuff was just kind of, there, and I kept listening in case they talked about something I really wanted to hear about. But I could never find an overall podcast that talked about consistently what I actually wanted to hear about, or had female hosts. I I listened to a lot of podcasts about toys and nostalgia and things, but the hosts were always, all the ones that I could find, the hosts were male, and they didn't really have the same kind of perspective as I did on the 90s and whatever. So it was important to me to give that perspective. Um I will let you know I am 35, so I was a 80s baby, but I grew up in the 90s. Um, so I think and I guess the early 2000s. So I think I can offer a unique kind of perspective, and I span different um eras, I guess. So yeah, we'll say that. And basically I don't have a goal really about my podcast, just kind of making a community of people who like the same things or similar things or one thing in common or whatever, just somewhere for people to feel like good listening to it. Maybe it jogs a memory of something that they enjoyed when they were young, or something they ate, or maybe they'll have a new snack they want to try or something, or have an idea for me. Either way, whatever works is pretty awesome. Another question I get a lot is probably, what do you collect? And that is a pretty loaded question for me. My collections kind of evolve and grow. Um, some things I just kind of discover and then all of a sudden I collect them. I'm like, oh, I have three. That means I collect them, I guess. And then the collection grows, etc., etc. Um, I collect a lot of things. When I was a kid, I collected erasers and pencils and things like that. Polly Pockets and uh, various Disney things. I think I had Dis- um an awful lot of Lion King stuff at one point, an awful lot of Little Mermaid stuff at one point. I definitely go through phases. Now as an adult, I collect toys again. There was a time when I didn't. Um Now I collect toys, and I mainly collect things I really like or things that remind me of something that I used to have or used to want. For example, I collect um those really nice hardcover thick Disney books. Not sure how to explain what they are, but basically I never had any when I was a kid, but I remember wanting them. I remember lots of other people had them, and I always wanted one, but my parents could never afford them, so now I collect them and I have a lot of them. And um yeah, they just kind of chill on my shelf. I don't know if I'm actually ever going to read them. They just look nice. Um so yeah, I mainly collect things that remind me of good things. Or now I don't collect Funko Pops. However, there are an awful lot of Funko Pops that line up with things I collect. So I have many Funko Pops, but I don't specifically collect Funko Pops just because they exist. Um yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. I collect lots of things. It's a sickness, really. Um yeah, I collect a lot of random things too. I collected rocks at one point. I collect spoons, sort of. I collect plates, kind of, but I'm really specific about what I collect, and I'm really picky. So I have to see something before I will commit to adding it to my collection, things like that. Um, so yeah, I'm really picky. That's probably what it comes down to. I'm a curator. I'm curating my museum of stuff. Um, and that's all. That's all I've got to tell you. As promised, I'd like to mention my snack map. So it's basically an app that I have on my phone. It's just of the world, and it's supposed to be places you've been or want to go. But I decided to track which countries I've eaten snacks from. So right now, I believe I'm at 14 countries, including the two that we're trying today, Holland and the Philippines. Um, I hope there are more to come. A couple of countries are super hard to get anything from. So I'm working on that. Hopefully people can help me out too, and hopefully future guests help me out. Um, Stuff like that. So yeah, that's the reason that I am excited about when new countries appear in my repertoire of snacks I've tried.
テイストテストタイム。
So now it's taste test time, and let's try some fun things. First, I'm gonna try these chips from the Philippines. They're called ribbed cracklings in old-fashioned salt and vinegar. And it says crunchy snack salt and vinegar flavor on the package. So I'm gonna crack those open first. It says on the package in a light writing beer match. So I guess these go well with the beer. I don't drink beer, but for those that do, maybe these chips go well. I can't open the bag, so that's what scissors are for. Oh my gosh, those are pungent. Salt and vinegar. Oh, they're not really chips. They're like crackers, but chips. I don't know. I don't know how to explain these things. Yeah, they're really good. Um, yeah, they're like deep fried to like somewhere in between chips and crackers, I would say. They kind of remind me of rice cakes, but they're not rice. Nevertheless, they're pretty good. I'm not disappointed at all. So thumbs up from me on those, I guess. So shout out to the Philippines. Yeah, they're really good. And then now I'm gonna try some coffee candies from Holland. I don't drink coffee personally, but I do like coffee flavored things. I just think coffee might be too bitter for me. Also, I don't drink hot drinks because I always burn my tongue and I hate that feeling. So, anyways, I like coffee flavored things. So, I have fingers crossed for these. Yeah, good. Really strong coffee flavor. They have a little kick to them. I don't really know why. Yeah, you really have to like coffee if you want to eat these. Um, but yeah, they're good. No complaints. So far, anyways. Um, Today I have a couple of postcards to share with you in the mailbag. Um, I haven't got very many postcards recently. Because I haven't really had time to send any mail either. So, right today I only have 3 to share with you, and I rather like the ones that I got. So, there's 2 here from Tina in Germany. So shout out to Tina from Germany. The first one is like a tortoise, and the tortoise's shell is a chessboard, and there's lots of chess pieces on it. It's really awesome. The second one is it's like it's a postcard covered with like sweets, cakes and macarons and candy and lollipops and roll cakes and donuts and things like that. So in German it says happy birthday, I think. So on the back of the card she wrote what it translated as sweet birthday wishes. And yeah, it's a pretty awesome card. My final card is from Charlotte in China. It's a meetup card from Shanghai Disneyland. featuring a bunch of giant balloon heads, I think, of Duffy the Disney bear and a couple of his friends. So I had no idea what Duffy the Disney bear was until a few minutes before the podcast when I looked it up. So I'll share what I learned from with you guys. So Duffy the Disney bear is only a Disney parks character. He isn't from a movie or a show or anything like that. He's on this card, he's with Shelly May, which is the name of the female bear, and Gelatoni, which is a green tuxedo cat for my reading. And Shelly May and Gelatoni live in Tokyo Disney Sea, I guess, or buy it or whatever in the park. So for people who don't know, Tokyo has Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea. Lots of Disney Sea has lots of the water-based movies, and stuff like that. Basically, it sounds pretty awesome, and I really want to go there. It seems pretty unique to all the other Disney parks, so I really want to check it out. Anyway, that is all for this podcast. If you want to listen to previous episodes of my podcast, you can find them on Spotify, YouTube, Apple. No, I always say that, and I never really mean it. Amazon Music and Google Podcasts. If you want to connect with me, I have a Twitter now at Sailor Calypso Says. And as usual, you can contact me on the Facebook page or on Instagram, or send me an email, sailorcalypsosays@gmail.com. So yeah, check it out and follow me if you want to keep up with what's going on and see pictures of what I'm tasting, the postcards I'm talking about, stuff like that. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we'll talk to you next time.